you're a wedding photographer looking to grow your business, or if you're a photographer looking to get into weddings, this video is for you. I've been a wedding photographer for 15 years, and I've grown my business to 6 figures. If I was in your shoes and I had to start over again, this is exactly what I'd do. By the end, you'll know which mindsets, which tools, and I'm going to give you actionable steps at each point along the way. First up is to practice on your own terms. Do not wait to get hired. That's backwards. Instead, ask family, friends, your spouse, just to volunteer to go out and shoot in the backyard, or maybe do some free shoots. Look online in local organizations that sometimes are looking for photographers for different events. This is a pressure-free way to learn how to pose, work with people, your communication. And just remember though, it takes a lot of reps. Eventually you could work your way up to doing styled shoots with other vendors at local venues. And those are just, that's gold. That's when you start meeting other people in the industry, while at the same time building a nice portfolio to show off to future clients. And this is exactly what I did when I first started out. I was taking photos, building a portfolio. Along the way, I was collecting reviews. Clients want to see that. They want to see what you can do, and they want to hear from other people that have already worked with you. The second thing I do, or the second mindset, is to know your ideal client. Trying to attract everyone is a mistake. Big mistake.
Big mistake. Big. Huge.
Because you're going to end up working with people that you just don't click with. And do this from the start. It's going to feel weird. It kind of seems like, yeah, but I need clients, Vaughn. I understand that. And you really want to be turning off the wrong clients just as much as you're trying to attract the good ones. Think about who drains you and who energizes you. I enjoy the adventurous types who put their faith in me. They've seen my work, they've read my reviews, and they really want to work with me. That really energizes me. This mindset sets the tone for your brand, your pricing, your marketing, but we're going to get to that. Leave that one spot in your calendar open for the right client. Just because someone sends you a lead, it doesn't mean you have to book them. Don't just take every wedding that comes your way. Because once you know who to say yes to, your entire business, it just becomes easier. The next thing I work on is my web presence and my local market. Having a pretty website, it's not enough. But not having one? No. Keep it clean, but load it with helpful content and, of course, your portfolio. Claim your Google My Business profile and allow Google to actually put you on the map. Social media, I don't think I need to go into this one too much. Post your work, post behind the scenes content, show people how you do you. So this one, photographers rarely ever are on the same page, and that's pricing. My first wedding, $300. That's like $200 for my American friends. Up until that point, I had just done maybe a small smattering of family shoots and photographing my very patient wife in the backyard. So patient. If you're new, start low. Free is fine. When you're ready to charge, here's how. First thing, start with your bottom line. Grab a calculator and figure out how much. What's your minimum? Think about you've got gear you've got to pay for. Think about your shoot time, your edit time, your travel time, and then add in a little bit of profit. That's a good start. Once you decide you're going to charge, never aim to be the lowest. Look for something in the middle when you're starting out. Check your local market, find the highest priced photographers, the lowest priced photographers, and then find a sweet spot somewhere in the middle. As time goes on, when you get maybe say every 10 to 20 weddings, then start upping your price each time. Gradually, your target is to get near that top mark. At first, it's going to feel uncomfortable, even when you've got 20, 30 weddings under your belt, which is a lot. However, it still may feel uncomfortable, but you want to be near the top. When you're laying out your pricing, build 3 packages. Your first package is going to be 5 to 6 hours. Simple coverage. It's for couples who are looking for just to have the basics covered. Ceremony, family portraits, photos of the couple, maybe a little bit of dancing, speeches, maybe a little bit of prep ahead of time, whatever it is, but 5 to 6 hours. Next package is going to be 8 to 9 hours. That's your sweet spot. That's where almost all of your clients, that's where they're going to land. And the last package That's your premium. That's everything that you want to offer. It all goes right in there. Things like 10 to 12 hours coverage, engagement session, album, prints, all that kind of stuff. And I usually will, on my pricing page, I reverse the order. I go highest, medium, lowest price. Oh, and if you have any additional fees that you're going to charge, be upfront. Taxes, travel fees, anything, be upfront. Don't surprise anybody at the end. That's not being a pro. One more bonus tip. Try to include an engagement session in as many packages as you're comfortable with. My premium and my middle package, they both include an engagement session. The reason being is that I want to work with my clients ahead of time. I want to get to know them a little bit, I want to get to know them, and I want them to get to know me. Nailed it. So when I do walk through the door on a wedding day, it's like, boom, high five. How's it going, Vaughn? How you been? We dive right in and we shoot because we're like old friends. Plus the wedding party, they will have seen the engagement photos, so they already know that you know what you're doing. From the guy's perspective, they don't really care. From the girl's perspective, they care about the photos. And if they've seen the engagement photos ahead of time, they know that you know what you're doing. Next up is client communication. This is where a lot of photographers fail. Nothing to do with the camera, just plain old communication. If you want to be a pro, you need a CRM. And when you first start out, sure, you might be able to keep track of your weddings on a spreadsheet. Once you start getting any kind of volume, you need a CRM. A good CRM handles all your emails, your invoicing, payment reminders, collecting payments, hosting galleries, hosting your album layouts, everything. The good ones, they do it all. For the past 10 years, I've been using Sprout Studio. No, this is not a sponsored video. Sprout, holler at your boy. I just love using Sprout. It's kept me organized. I've watched them grow into just this powerhouse that does everything I just mentioned earlier. My clients have a client login. They log into their client page and they can find everything they need to know. Their contract, their payment schedule, their invoices, their galleries from the engagement to the wedding, their wedding album. It's all under one roof and it makes me look like a pro. And I can say with confidence that Sprout Studio has been one of the key tools I've used that's helped me build my business up to 6 figures. And I've included a free trial link below. If you do sign up, I do get a small commission, but of course, at no cost to you. 2 of the most important factors with a CRM. 1, it keeps track of your schedule. So important. You do not want to be double booking yourself. 2, it handles your contracts. Always have a contract. If you don't have one yet, the best option is to go to a local lawyer and have them draw one up for you. Could be pricey. There's also a website called The Law Tog. I'll link to it below. They have a lot of pay contracts that you can purchase. Still, I recommend taking that contract to your lawyer, have them look it over. And if you do have a CRM, some of them, like Sprout, they include free templates for contracts. Once again, when you pick a contract, bring it to a local lawyer and have them look it over, just to be safe. And the last thing about CRMs, they keep track of your payments, which brings me to having a payment schedule in place and stick to it. The payment schedule that I have for my clients is first payment is due on booking, which is 30%. From there, 6 months before the wedding, they owe me an additional 30%. And then 30 days before the wedding date, they pay the remaining balance. So 3 payments, it's spread out, makes it a little more manageable for clients. If you're new to photography, asking for all that kind of money so far in advance, it might feel uncomfortable. I understand, it did for me as well. However, I don't think there's many things that are more tacky or cringe-worthy than going up to my client at the end of their wedding day while they're enjoying the party and dancing and going, hey, you owe me, don't ask for money on the wedding day. Super cringe. And if they push back on any of these systems that we've been discussing, remember what I said earlier about finding your ideal client. Okay, let's talk about delivering your photos like a professional. There's lots of services out there like Pic-Time or Sprout. There's lots. Just have a look around, see which one works for you, price point, style, all that kind of stuff. These kind of tools are going to allow you to upload your photos to really beautiful galleries. And that's the kind of thing that your clients, when you send them that link, they're going to be so excited to take that link and share it with all their friends and family. Mwah, beautiful marketing for you. Some of the really good ones, once you've uploaded your pictures to the gallery, send the link to your client, you're done. When they go to order their prints, it doesn't come to you to handle. It goes directly to the lab handles it, and ships it directly to your client. So while you're on to your next event or you're off enjoying your life, a really good gallery tool is going to be making you money in the background. We got to talk about gear. That's the question that I get almost all the time, especially in my workshops. Everyone wants to know what's the best camera to buy, what camera should they buy. My first 4 weddings, I shot, I think it was more than that. Might have been my first 6 weddings. I shot on a slick Nikon D5000 single card slot, crop sensor with a 18-55 kit lens on it. So sick. And from there, I invested some of my earnings into a Nikon, I think it was a 50mm 1.8. Love that lens. To this day, that lens still holds up. So I recommend upgrading slowly. Don't run out and buy your dream camera right off the bat. Shoot your weddings on what you've got and then build up a little bit of money, build up experience to learn what you like to shoot, what your style is. Because in the beginning, you might be watching videos like this going, hey, this photographer has this camera and this lens. I need to have that too. It's not true. What you need to do is learn more about yourself, what you actually need. I know when I went to the camera store when I first started out, the sales guy, very good sales guy. I walked out of there with every little knick-knack and gadget known. I used them all the first wedding. Most of them I never touched again because I didn't need that. Start simple, start with what you've got, learn the ropes, get your reps in and learn how you shoot, what is actually going to move the needle for you. And then once your bank account is kind of like swelled a little bit, yeah, treat yourself. That's the time to upgrade. But if you insist on spending money, then don't spend it on gear. Spend it on your education. Get your reps in. That's going to make the biggest difference in your photos. All right, final tip. We've talked about tools and gear. This is what I'd remind myself if I was starting all over again or getting started like you are. You're building something here. Not every wedding is going to be perfect. What's important is that you show up and get your reps in. This is where you're going to be learning the flow of a wedding, how to interact with people. And as you progress to each wedding, share what you've learned, your experience with future clients. That helps build trust with them. They start to learn that, yeah, this guy really knows what he's talking about. Word of mouth, experience, confidence, they all grow together. What's going to be your next move? Pricing, marketing, communication? Let me know in the comments. And if you happen to be an introvert like me, check out this next video where I show you how an introvert can actually thrive as a wedding photographer. That's it. I'll see you in the next one.